Welcome to ET Math Academy. Today I am going to discuss about asymptotes. So what are asymptotes? Asymptotes are the values of the function for which the function becomes undefined. So here is an example. F of x is equal to 3 by 4x minus 6 plus 2. So this is our function for today, and I can have different values of x and find the function value of the functions for f of x. So here I'm going to find out the asymptotes. So values of this function for which this function becomes undefined. So in order to do that, we will be having vertical asymptote and horizontal asymptote. Which means for finding the vertical asymptote, we need to equate this denominator should be made equal to 0, such that this function becomes undefined, because 3 by 0 is infinity. When the denominator becomes 0, the function here becomes 3 by 4x minus 6 equal to 0, which is 0, which means infinity, and it has plus 2, so the value becomes 2. But the different values for x values, if the denominator is equal to 0, then it will be having the y value, which is 2. So that value of x is called vertical asymptote. And in order to find out the horizontal asymptote, we will be equating the function, the entire function f of x is made equal to 0. Then we will get the horizontal asymptote. Here for the graph on x and y axis, so if the function is like this, which means for all the y values the graph is going upwards like this, this is called the vertical asymptote, and this is called, over the x-axis this is becoming undefined, so this is called horizontal asymptote. So now let's find out the values for this. So in order to find out the vertical asymptote, we will be making the denominator equal to 0. So denominator for this function here is 4x minus 6 equal to 0. For this is for vertical asymptote. In order to find out this, I am making the denominator equal to 0. So 4x minus 6 equal to 0, 4x equal to 6, x is equal to 6 by 4, which is 3 by 2, which is 1.5. So for x equal to 1.5, for this value, we are getting the vertical asymptote, which means the function is becoming undefined. It goes like this over the x-axis. So for the value of 1.5, from 1.5 the graph of the function will be like this. It goes on continuously. And for the horizontal asymptote, so this for 1.5, this vertical asymptote will be going continuously like this. And for horizontal asymptote, I need to take the function f of x and I need to equate it to 0. the value of the function becomes 0. So 0 is equal to 3 by 4x minus 6 plus 2. This is our function, which means when this 4x minus 6 goes to this side, 0 into 4x minus 6 is 0, and here I will be left over with 2. So the value will be 2, which means for the value 0 equal to 2 shows that the function value will be 0. So which means that for y equal to 0 we are getting the continuous form over x-axis, which is the horizontal asymptote. For y equal to 0 we are getting the continuous graph over x-axis like this, which is the horizontal asymptote. The function becomes undefined. And for x equal to 1.5, when I place x equal to 1.5, the denominator becomes 0. And for this value, when the denominator becomes 0, the function value will be f of x is equal to 3 by 0 plus 2. The function value will be 2, which means y equal to 2. So the asymptotes here are the vertical asymptotes. What I got is vertical, x value is 1.5 and y value is 2. And horizontal asymptote, I got y value is 0. So for y equal to 0, we get the horizontal asymptote, and for y equal to 2, we get the, and x equal to 1.5, we get the vertical asymptote. So this is how you find out the asymptotes. And asymptotes are nothing but the values of the function when it becomes undefined. So for finding the vertical, we equate the denominator equal to 0 and we find the x value, which is 1.5. And when I substitute 1.5 in this function, I get the y value as 2, because it has f of x equal to 3 by 4x minus 6 plus 2. So y equal to 2. And in order to find out the horizontal asymptote, I equate this total function value to 0. So when I do that, I am getting it as 0 equal to 2, which means there is no value. The function is becoming undefined for y equal to 0. So this is the horizontal asymptote. For y equal to 0, it becomes undefined. So this is how you find it out. Hope you all like my video, and please subscribe to AT Math Academy and enjoy doing math at AT. Thank you all.